Hello, wrestling fans, and thank you once again this week for joining us as we are reliving the extreme. I'm Nate Maxon, your host, here along, as always, with my brother Aaron.
Hello.
And Mr. Chad Austin as well.
How's it going, guys?
It is cold. It is cold, cold, cold. It's that you go outside and the outside is crispy. That's what, it's crunchy and crispy out there, but
it's not the crispy that I like.
No.
Like bacon. No, it's cold here. Yeah, I'm in Baltimore, and tomorrow is going to be colder because it's going to be windy.
Mm-hmm. We had the winds come through yesterday. It was pretty nasty. But this week things aren't necessarily heating up as far as ECW goes. Maybe they are, maybe they aren't. We'll see as we go along. But we're reviewing the episode of ECW from August 24th, 1993, which is going to feature a world champion, an ECW championship match between our champion, Don Morocco, and Tito Santana. So we have that to look forward to or not. The show
got a lot of Eddie Gilbert to look forward to.
Yes.
Yeah.
The show opens up with a recap of everything that happened last week, and then we go into the studio with Jay Sully again.
Yeah. Jay Sully opens up by saying, "This is going to be another exciting episode of ECW wrestling." And I just wrote down exciting. And I had to look back at my notes and go, why did I write exciting?
And he says it like he's so lethargic when he says it. Be like, "Hey guys, it's going to be another exciting
edition of ECW."
Thank you, guys. I'm not a fan of them being in the studio. I mean, it takes away from the show.
That's like you said.
I totally agree. It makes it look like that everything is just completely taped, and they're just throwing stuff together.
It's like you said.
Always how studio stuff looks.
It's like you said last week, Aaron. He's worse in the studio than he is at ringside. And then we get this weird thing where Eddie Gilbert is laying on the floor, and Sully didn't see him there. He didn't see a 220 pound wrestler laying on the floor. I mean,
I guess I don't know. He must have had his mic volume turned way up, and he like whispered right behind the chair that he was laying behind for some unknown reason. But he came with gifts.
He did.
I would have much rather had last week's gift.
Yeah. Then he browbeats Sully about being a raging alcoholic and gives him a screwdriver.
I mean, is Gilbert? I'm asking this legitimately. Do you think Gilbert's high? Because I don't know if he's covered this, but I've never heard about Eddie smoking, or being a big fan of smoking. You know what I mean? Weed or whatever. I never heard that. But what the fuck is this? He's laying on the floor behind the guy with nothing better to do than just say, "Hey, I brought you a gift. It's a screwdriver."
It's a screwdriver. You're a raging alcoholic.
Yeah. Where does any of this tie into what the hell we're going to see? Unless they really just looked at all the match times and said, "We got a lot of time to fill."
With a lot of what's going on between those two and their conversations, it almost feels like it feels like they have a relationship of some sort, and we're not in on the joke. And that's the best way I can put it.
Well, it's funny you do say that, because Paul Lee says something much later on in the show that that may just coincide with what you just said.
I didn't catch that, but I'll be interested to hear it. They're talking about Ultra Clash coming up. I think it's September 18th of 93. And we're going to have more of the most poorly booked tag team championship tournament I think I may have ever seen.
Yeah.
But these matches, just every finish of every match is this screwy, weird deal going on. Anyway, so we get a promo here. Oh, anything else on that segment? That wonderful segment? Okay.
At least we talk about it the best.
Yeah. Just the Eddie and Dark Patriot promo.
Eddie Gilbert and Dark Patriot promo as they are getting ready to face Tommy Cairo and JT Smith in a first round tag championship tournament match. Aaron?
Well, I was going to say, for the only note I got from it is all the time Dark Patriot's been there. I think this is the first time he spoke. I don't think
Well,
he's cut
he
his own
don't sound
promo.
like Doug Gilbert to me. I don't know. That's all I can say. I mean, he didn't sound Southern to me. So I was shocked that he did talk, because I always thought that the gimmick guy talked for him. So when I heard him talk, I was like, oh, Doug Gilbert.
I was surprised too that he actually spoke, because I don't think in GWF, when he was in the GWF under that hood, I don't think he ever talked.
Yeah, I don't
think so Akbar talked for him, you know.
I always remember him just putting his hand out like a claw kind of thing, and you know,
moving around with the cape. Yeah,
moving around. I don't think he talked, but when he talked, I was like, it's fucking Eddie's other brother. You know, with Freddie being there already.
Freddie already, and he is at ringside for this tag team debacle. Eddie Gilbert and the Dark Patriot against Tommy Cairo and JT Smith. Anything about the action here?
I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was an action paced match. I mean, I didn't hate it. I thought it was good.
It was as much as you were going to get out of Jazzy JT and Cairo that Eddie and DP were going to do. But my only note was, because the match was so not so bad. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't good by any stretch, but it was not so bad. So I was listening to the commentary with Morocco. I guess it was Morocco. And yeah, like Morocco and all the jokes. And I just said, and we think Raw is silly. You know, with their like comedy and stuff. And like just some of the stuff, like what is Morocco doing in there? He had to pay him for like an extra day or something, I'm sure, to do commentary on a bunch of stuff. And yeah, it was just the work was indie-rific. You know, Eddie and DP did what they were going to do, like as far as allow what the other guys were going to do to them, you know.
Right.
So it wasn't you weren't going to expect anything spectacular at it, but I couldn't wait to get to that finish. But we still haven't. I mean, at one point, I think, isn't this where Sherry comes out?
Yeah.
Sensational
Sherry shows up.
She runs off Freddie.
And then
what? Apparently
she doesn't come out and align herself with anybody. She just runs off Freddie, right?
Yeah. And one of the fantastic jokes that they say in this match is Sully says that JT Smith is Philly's favorite son, and then Don goes, "Did they ever actually find out whose son he is?"
Yeah, and nobody sold that. Yeah. Like nobody sold it but me. I was like, did he just say that? Yeah, that's what that match was. It was like, hey, check this out. And Eddie was just like, I don't know, man. He just seemed like nothing was like, he didn't really give a shit. You know, he wasn't motivated to do anything special. He was just involved in everything, but never did any of it well. It's just me, but that finish.
That finish was stupid. I mean, I hate to say it, but it was stupid. It was, so you got the Dark Patriot, I believe, almost or accidentally. We have the chain shot.
Gilbert accidentally hits the Dark Patriot.
Yeah. Got it backwards.
I'm going back to before that finish. The JT Smith super non-moonsault flying back body splash off the top.
Yeah, it was
roof.
bad.
Yeah, what was he trying? I think he was trying to do that Mil Mascaras deal where he's facing the crowd forward and then jumps and turns midway, you know, like that splash. But nothing like that came about.
And JT,
his legs were flailing in the air, and he kind of just hit like
he was doing really good up until then. He was like, he did those flipping splashes that looked all right, and he was chucking along, and he just got up on that top rope's like kryptonite, man. JT.
You ain't kidding, it is, man. and it eventually became part of his gimmick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that was that was something else. But the finish you're talking about was that old classic Memphis, put the chain in the other guy. You know, that was just. And the people in Philadelphia are not stupid.
Right.
You know, they knew that it was an old finish, and that's why you got the reaction that you got.
And it's usually supposed to be the other way around anyway, too. Like, that's supposed to happen to the heel. Like, the heel is supposed to outsmart the babyface.
Yeah, and if you don't do it first, you do that second. You get the big cheat the one time, but then the second time when it really matters, and you're like defending your title against the babyface, and then it happens to you, you're the guy that sells the shit out of it as the heel. Like, I can't believe I can't. That's how Memphis does it, because they got 52 weeks a year that they run the same building. So it's that finish was so old. Because I thought the JT Smith thing was the finish. So I just was like, all right, I kind of didn't look. And then when I see them arguing, and then all of a sudden I see the chain, and then I heard they raised their hands, I was like, oh my God, the Memphis chain spot again.
And like I said,
I think it's timeless.
Like I said, this tournament is, we're 3 matches in, we're going to have the fourth, well, it doesn't happen, but we're going to have the fourth match. There hasn't been a regular finish in this entire tournament yet. Everybody's advancing through a coin flip or a reverse decision or some wackiness going on.
You can't have any of the Koloffs take a pin. You can't have Cairo or JT get beat. Yeah, you can't have any of that. No. It's a coin. I think a coin toss would probably work. Good.
So
God.
that's kind of that match, and now we roll into also Sherry. I just wanted to mention Sherry comes out here and chases Freddie away, but then later on in this next segment they make a reference, I think, to her being aligned with Shane Douglas and the Dangerous. I'm confused. I guess I'm confused. I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, Aaron, you go first. I don't.
What I think is, like, because she comes out and runs Freddie off, and Morocco's upset about it. I think Morocco implied that he thought Sherry was supposed to be there to be with Shane Douglas, and now she's doing some other, like, going into business for herself thing.
Yeah, but he made a comment about the last place that she worked was on some street corner that he named. And then, it was just like, all right, she comes out, because I don't remember her chasing Freddie off. And now I'm starting to put the pieces together about how long we're going to see Freddie, because I think I remember the goodbye angle on it. And but all she does is just come out. Yeah, and Morocco was like ecstatic, like, what is she doing? What is she doing? I don't think he made any sort of reference or innuendo that she was aligned. It was just that she came out, and he made a couple of jokes about her. And then when he made that comment about that she was last seen working on the corner of this, I was like, oh, well, then she's definitely not with him. I don't think at this point.
The next segment, Shane Douglas is in the ring cutting a promo. And this is the first time we've seen Shane, even though they have alluded to him for about a month now. This is the first time we've actually seen Shane on TV for ECW. And the Dangerous Alliance comes out, and we find out that he has joined forces with the Dangerous Alliance / Hot Stuff Incorporated, the Dangerous Hot Stuffs, whatever they're calling themselves.
The Dangerous Hot Stuffs.
He makes a reference to Ted Turner in his promo and throws out a challenge. Anything on this?
No, hang on. What was the? I know where they're getting to with the angle, but what was the deal? Did something happen with did Shane sue WCW and get like a $10,000 settlement or something?
I don't know what it was. I don't know, and I couldn't find anything on it when I tried to look up, through some torches and observers and stuff around this time, and I couldn't find anything. So I don't know what the inside baseball is on. But even if it was true, he's a pro wrestler working for a big company. $10,000 shouldn't be anything that you're like going to court over. you know what I mean? Right.
You should be like, if you wanted to get out of the company, you should be willing to take the sacrifice of not having to, earn that 10 grand, but if it just came to you because you were sent home or whatever, that's one thing. But if he legitimately went to court and sued Ted Turner for $10,000. It was probably like they gave him a whole list of scratch-offs, and we're just like, good luck, man. I mean, this is what you're getting, and he's yelling, "I won 10 grand." So
Ed just pulls out his wallet and goes, "There you go, buddy."
see, that was completely like it was pro wrestling preposterous to me with the whole entire thing, like with the $20,000 over the top rope battle royal. If I was going to be a promoter and I was going to run a battle royal and have a $20,000 grand prize, whatever, I would have better guys in it than Baron Miguel Cicluna and SD Jones and Charlie Fulton.
Right.
I would pick my talent a little better for spending money like that. So 10 grand was kind of like, who gives a shit? What? It means that much to you? But you know where they're going with this angle, right? I mean, this is the start of what I think it is. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
This is the start of the angle we talked about with John Gillum. That I was trying to explain it to you guys last week. Eddie used to do the deal where it was the $10,000 gold or $5,000 golden challenge, where he would challenge anybody from the crowd to come up and beat him, and nobody ever would. And then finally, when John Gillum came up there and he said his name, and they made a mockery of it, and Eddie slapped him. And they didn't. They booked it to where the next time they ran to town is when they advertised it was going to be, Eddie against Mr. Dolphin for the $5,000. And then it was John Gillum, so all the guys dressed him up in all their other gimmicks. It was Austin Idol was behind it, So Austin Idol ends up costing, Eddie the $5,000 gimmick. So when Shane was throwing around $10,000, I was like, oh my God, it's gonna be the $10,000 golden challenge, because I don't remember the outcome of this. I just know that Todd was bad with the whole no.
Yeah.
It was more like, you don't know. Who knows? Because Shane's just standing there, not even saying nothing. Why everybody's just talking around. Like, Todd's yelling no, because you're looking in the ring and looking at all the checks he's got to write that night. There's Snuka, there's Morocco, there's Eddie, there's Paul. Like he's right. He's looking at his whole payroll right there.
So Shane winds up having a handicap match with the first appearance also of Donnie Allen that we've seen, and our old friend Hervé Renesto.
Hell yeah, this is my biggest pop of the show.
Twisted Steel and Sex Appeal. That's right.
And I think at one point, what's his name? Sully even goes, "There's Hervé Renesto, Sex Appeal." he had to let us know which one
was which.
Yeah.
Well, I thought it was easy to tell because Donnie had the shirt on that said Twisted Steel. So, I mean, I just thought by proxy, unless you're just putting your partner over, I didn't know. But yeah, I was like, of course that's Sex Appeal. That's Hervé Renesto.
With a name like Hervé Renesto, it's got to be Sex Appeal.
I mean, they do have a Humberto in the WWE, Humberto Carrillo, or whatever his name is.
So anything on this matchup, guys?
This was a nothing match. It was just Shane hit his belly to belly and 1, 2, 3, and that was it.
That was a hell of a belly to belly, though.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's one thing I'll say here is you can always tell, I think, personally, that Shane was one of those guys, I think, and this is just me talking out my ass, just my observation, but Shane was one of those guys that knew that, I don't know how to put it, he knew he had talent that other people didn't recognize. And I think that, to me, in this segment, in this thing, he seemed very motivated, if that makes sense. He seemed like, I'm gonna take whatever this is and I'm gonna make the best of it. And I mean, that was my observation about him. He just seemed motivated in this segment.
I totally agree because I don't know what the extent was of bringing Shane in, like when he was contacted, like, this is what we want to do with you. But based on the relationship that Shane had with Paul and Eddie, because of Continental.
Mm-hmm.
That he probably saw something there, or they conned him, for lack of a better word. They were like, or hey, we got this Mark, promoter guy with money.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what we could do. But I'm sure that Shane was not doing a whole lot right around then. I mean, I didn't go back and do any of the homework on him, but it probably was just a deal that he was just going to take the money while he could and see how long it lasted.
Mm-hmm.
If I had to pick anything out of it, and
because I would say the last thing he had did before this, Aaron, correct me if I'm wrong, but wasn't it him and Steamboat working with the Hollywood Blondes in WCW?
Yeah. And he didn't even make it to the end of that, because when they had that tag team match that pay-per-view in the cage, it wasn't even Shane. It was
Barry,
Tom Zank.
Oh.
No, it was Zank.
Okay.
Suitable replacement.
That's why they put him in the mat. That's why they had him wear the masks. And the only time Shane, like Steamboat takes his mask off, but like Shane never takes his mask off.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, oh, well, if he takes his mask off, we're gonna know it's fucking Tom Zank.
So that probably has something to do with the $10,000. Because that could have been when they were like, weren't they like Dos Hombres?
Yeah.
So it could have been Shane's actual outfit. And then they gave it to Tom Zink, and it cost Shane $10,000.
Now we're getting to the root now.
Yeah, he was just trying to get his money back on that suit. He saw big money on the Indies as Dos Hombre.
Uno hombre. The one half of Dos Hombre.
I think what was being pitched around was he was going to have the outfits altered to fit Hervé Ernesto and Donnie Allen. So they were going to be Las Twisted Steel and Sex Appeal Hombre. But not much. That match was exactly what you thought it was going to be. But it was great for me. It was great to see the introduction of my buddy Donnie.
Mm-hmm.
Although them two guys, man, woof. Their offense, oh my god! I mean, it's one thing if they were like doing that to like a Bruiser Brody type, but Shane's not a Bruiser Brody type size of a guy. They were pounding on him, and Shane was just doing nothing, just doing nothing. And I'm like, oh man! And I am. I'm only like a few weeks away from debuting, and like this is how they treat the jobbers there, huh? Little did I know.
Up next, we're going to have a match. We're supposed to have a match between the Super Destroyers and the Suicide Blondes. And the Super Destroyers cut a promo, and I had to write this line down.
I wrote 2 or 3 lines down.
One of the Super Destroyers says that the Suicide Blondes are so small, they actually have to go on top of each other. I was like, I don't even know what that means.
Well,
they were the Suicide Smurfs.
Yeah, the Suicide Smurfs. That's what Super Destroyer number 1 says. Is they're so small they gotta be one on top of the other. And then second one, he closes the promo with, if you got says, if you want some, be there, and you're gone.
Wow, I mean,
what the fuck does that even
That's
mean?
the way to talk them into the arena, buddy.
That's like their closing line.
Like
those guys sat down and they were like, hey, we're going to kill it today. And I'm going to say this. What are you going to say? So I'm going to say, and if you want some, be there, and you're gone. And Super Destroyer 1 was like, that's it. That's money, baby.
I just like the fact that there was going to be one on top of the other, like it was like a chicken fight. I mean, the Suicide Smurfs, you're so small. But I was waiting for the other one to go, how small are they?
Well,
hey-o!
One's going to have to be on top of the other.
Yeah. Like on top of the other is fantastic.
Yes. Fucking, what the fuck is this?
Yeah, and then we get, just move on. And then we get to the match where, I mean, the lack of whatever, and I swore that there was a different angle to this, but I guess that was not. I mean, I guess it wasn't, but Hunter Q. Robbins apparently will make a lot more money than Shane Douglas.
Shane Douglas
Yeah,
is what I
that's what I was
thought
about
too.
to say.
Like, how's Hunter Q got 25 and Shane's only got 10?
Well,
Hunter Q's slanging, I guess.
Hunter Q. Robbins is the kind of guy that he's the perfect example. You want to know how to make $5 million in a wrestling business, start with 10. Because if he's got $25,000 and his first recruits are the Super Destroyers, like there's got to be a Johnny Hotbody and Stetson probably got to be calling him all the time. You can send us an easy 10,000, 15,000 to sign us for your group. That was ridiculous. Just the fact that he had a secretary back there. Nobody's buying that.
Halitosis Hunter is telling he's expounding the Super Destroyers about how he made them world champions and made them all this money in small sports bars and stuff in Philadelphia. And he offers them 25. He says he's told the Suicide Blondes to stay home, or told the Suicide Blondes to stay home, and they're going to forfeit. And he wants the Super Destroyers back as his team. He's, like we alluded to, going to offer them a big $25,000, and they don't take it.
Well, why would the whatever their name is, the Suicide Smurfs? Why would they stay home and forfeit an opportunity at the ECW Tag Team Title Tournament just because Hunter told them to? Did they not know they were booked?
Right.
They don't watch the TV.
They didn't see the brackets.
Yeah. I mean, they had to know last week. I'm sure that Jay Sully, Six Pack Sully, probably said that next week we're going to have the quarterfinal brackets. And then Candido and Hotbody looked at one another and says, well, obviously we're booked next week for the thing. And Hunter goes, hey, guys, you don't have to go. They just decided that, you know what, we don't need the ECW tag team titles. That made absolutely zero sense.
Nada. Yeah.
And the way that Super Destroyer #1 phrases that he doesn't want to accept this is he said, no money can save you from the demise that's about to come to you. And then he shoves him and he goes, and that's the end of that tune.
Oh, is that what he said?
Yeah.
I didn't catch that. Yeah, I didn't catch what he said after that either.
No money can save you from the demise that comes to you. Push. And that's the end of that tune.
I thought he said,
and everybody was just staring at them.
I swear I thought he said prune.
Like 200 people were just staring at that.
I swear I thought he said prune. Because I'm going based
that would be better.
Based upon the stuff that he already said. You know, I didn't think it was too far-fetched.
Yeah, one prune on top of another.
Like if you would have said prune, at least he could have maybe been calling Hunter a prune or something. But he was just like, that's the end of that tune.
Yeah, I got.
How old is Super D1?
Yeah, I just got a slash that says horrible promo. It was horrible, and yeah, I mean, this has to be the rating on the wall for all of them guys. All of them. It's got to be.
Like if that would have been my company and all of them would have came to the back, I would have been like, well, you're all fired. Like, just get the fuck out.
I'm assuming that because they weren't on actually on the show. I don't know, but Candido, maybe is Candido gone now? Is because he leaves for a while, doesn't he, and goes to Smoky Mountain. And said had he left by this point?
That could possibly be, because I don't see anybody asking with the whereabouts of Hotbody.
It is. It has to be, because I think this is about the same time that Tammy showed up in Smoky Mountain. Yeah, so I think that's probably what it was, and then
nobody's beating down the door to find out where Chris Michaels is at. So it's like, well, let's just put the kibosh on this team now that the workers.
And the worst part is that somebody in the back is drinking like a thing of milk, and there's a missing picture of Chris Michaels on the milk thing, and they hand it down, and and nobody's grabbing to see who the missing person was and go, "Oh my God, it's Chris Michaels." Nobody's asking him. Nobody's clamoring around for the whereabouts. Yeah.
I think he landed in Bill Barron's NWA Wild Side after this.
Him and Stevie Wonderful are a team.
At the car wash.
Yeah.
I buff you fluff, brother. Let's do this.
I was just about to say earlier we had Twisted Steel and Sex Appeal, and then we've got Buff and Fluff over here.
Cash and wax. But in all honesty, it's being this was airing in August. So what do you think? The show was taped in July?
These tapings, according to what I saw, like when I read in the Torch, they were taped August 7th and 8th.
Oof.
The ones we're watching now were taped August 7th and 8th.
Well, we gotta go to our friends Zellner and Bix. Asked Bix to see when did Candido start with Smoky Mountain? Maybe they have a better I don't remember all these dates. It's glad to have people like Cornette around and guys like that keep tracks of all that stuff, because you can guess time periods, but you're not going to have exact dates on stuff. So maybe he already told him that he couldn't make it because he had to go. Because I'm not sure this is the last that we see of Chris. Is it? Do you know him? Until later on, of course.
Right. I really don't know, to be honest with you. I know around sometime around this time is, like Aaron said, this is when Tammy shows up in Smoky Mountain and he shows up, and but I cannot remember. Like you said, Chad, can't remember specific dates. Thank God for historians, or we'd all be lost. Right.
Because I don't think, from what I know about their relationship, and I wasn't around them that as much as as most people. I don't see Chris allowing Tammy to go down there by herself. Mm-hmm. Whether or not he had to cancel a date or a couple of dates, because I'm thinking he was still working for Carluzzo too, right?
Yeah.
This year sounds like he works for Carluzzo, he worked for Paul, he worked for Cornette, and didn't he even do one of them Eddie Sharkey shows out and over in what was that, Illinois? One of them NWA, with Sabu or something.
Yeah, because he's mixed up in the NWA thing at this point too. So yeah, I don't know. Like I said, I don't know specific dates, but I think if he's not on his way, or if he's not out, he's on his way out. And I know it feels like they've given up on that tag team. So
why was that? Because Hunter Q gave him the day off, so they could try to woo the Super Destroyers back with.
You guys don't worry about the fame and fortune of the tag team championships. Just stick around the hotel, have a nice breakfast. Yeah.
What the fuck? Yeah, that's just ridiculous.
And now they show us Aaron's favorite match again. Terry Funk.
At first, I was watching this, okay? I was watching it, and I put in my notes. I was like, what the fuck? They're making Terry Funk wrestle the Canadian Wolfman again. And then I'm watching, and I'm like, it's the same goddamn match. They're showing the same fucking match from 3 weeks ago. Everything you can show to showcase the talents of Terry Funk, they show this goddamn Canadian Wolfman match.
That's exactly what I thought, Aaron. I'm watching it going, wait a minute, because I did make a note that they're still using their ring, right? And I'm thinking, well, I haven't seen them. I haven't seen Dudley, or I haven't seen Max Thrasher, or whatever his name is, on the show recently. And then when it came back on, I was like, there's no chance that they're making him work the Wolfman again, right?
Yeah.
And then when he started, they noticed the difference in the crowd from the previous segment to that segment. And then and I'm watching it, and then while they went back and did that running the rope spot where Terry kind of threw him in, then they
that's where I was like, wait a minute.
What is the repeat? Like why? If out of all the Terry fucking matches,
you're gonna show that way.
I'm sure he beat up Hervé Ernesto sometime around that period. So why couldn't they replay that?
I was so mad.
No, I wasn't.
I was like, this is bullshit. Like, the first time I watched it, I was mad. And watching it again, I was more mad the second time.
Dude, that rope spot was great. Because if you know anything about running the ropes, and I don't know why Dudley didn't know. It must have been because he was in the ring with Funk. But you gotta grab the rope with your right arm, and you gotta like pull it into your underarm. So in case that bitch breaks,
yeah,
you don't go flying out like into the into the empty seats. And but I mean, he was hitting the rope like you would do if no offense to you guys, I don't know what your level of experience is.
You didn't know what the fuck you were doing.
Yeah, he hit the ropes with his arms to his side and just hit his back into it. And and I was like, dude, if that rope would have broke, you would have fucking killed yourself. Because his ass would have fell through the middle top rope, and he would just went straight to the floor right on his head. And then when Terry Funk was body slamming him, I think I might be wrong because I didn't catch it the first time, and I could care even less about it the second time. Was when remember how he body slammed him 3 times?
Yeah.
The first time he did the classic. He didn't know how to post his hand on Terry's knee, so Terry had to muscle him up to slam him the first time. So I think that he literally picked him up the second time and said, "Motherfucker, help me out." And then he did a little better, and then he said, "Motherfucker, help me out."
And Terry Funk is teaching this guy how to wrestle.
While in the middle of a match.
Yeah.
He's giving him a private class.
He's like legitimately body slamming this fucking marshmallow. It's like it's more impressive than when Hogan did it at 3 with Andre.
Yeah. Well, all the jokes that were made during that match wasn't, to me. I didn't catch them all because I was still laughing. There was a repeat.
Uh-oh.
What happened?
He froze.
Oh, out of all the things to show, they couldn't. I would have rather have shown him putting that dummy in his little tractor thing again for the 17th time than him running Dudley into the ropes. And
yeah, at least
kept making jokes about Dudley's physique.
It was awful. It was so bad they had to let us see it twice. But that's like Aaron said and Chad said also. So that's what they chose to feature Terry Funk this week was the Canadian Wolfman match. They must have still owed him a little bit for renting the ring or something, but get him a little more TV exposure there. And now we go into something I actually liked.
They're pushing to that big show.
Mm-hmm.
You know they gotta push that to the big ultra class show. So why better than not show some of Terry Funk's finest moments?
I like the Stan Hansen promo next.
Yeah,
I mean, Stan Hansen. It's Stan Hansen. You know, I like watching Stan Hansen scream at me. That's good stuff. He's talking about the match where he and Terry Funk are going to face Eddie Gilbert and Abdullah the Butcher at Ultra Clash. And anything on the promo, fellas?
Oh, I could talk for 25 minutes on the promo. But Aaron, you better go first then.
It was a Stan Hansen promo, and he did a good job, and he didn't really put Eddie over, but he put Abby over and made Abby sound like a credible threat, and I thought it was a well done promo.
Yeah, he's kind of playing up this I don't know who the hell Eddie Gilbert thing is. He did that last week when he's like, Eddie Gilbert, whoever the hell you are, and then he kind of did it in this promo too. But like you said, he put Abby over as a threat and put over the fact that this is the first time.
I wonder why.
This is the first time he's teaming with Terry Funk.
I'm completely shocked.
Anything on the promo, Chad? I know you said you could go on for a while about it.
Yeah, I mean, first off, I wasn't exactly. I have to go back and look at this. but this was 93.
Mhm.
And he said that for him, I mean, this could have been just a Freudian thing of Stan not even giving a shit about how this is the first time they would have teamed and been together in like 20 years or whatever. And I'm thinking of like the famous tag tournament where he comes back to All Japan, where he's in the crowd and he lariats Terry Funk. You ever seen that?
Yeah.
Oh, that's fantastic. Where he just levels Terry, you know? But I don't remember them actually being a team. But I just know that 20 years prior would have been 73.
Yeah, that's
so I'm just like, well, you know, maybe he's just throwing, you know, names out there, or I mean, years out there or whatever. But him putting over Abdullah, well, we all know why he did that. That's just to further the All Japan relationship,
right.
And him putting over Eddie, or not even really putting over Eddie, that's kind of like funny to me. That's kind of funny to me because I'm trying to think their paths would have crossed when. I'm trying to think other times their paths would have crossed because Memphis, Eddie was probably gone whatever 83. Whenever Hanson came in with whatever 83 around that area, maybe Eddie may have crossed from there, but then he wouldn't have been in WCW for his what year was that run that Hanson had? 91, 92 or something?
It was
91.
91.
And Stan, I don't think was ever in UWF, so I don't know when they would have had any kind of
So
action.
yeah, so it's like some of these pairings of some of these guys that are being brought in, besides the obvious, Doug, Paul, Kevin, and Don Gillum. Some of these guys they brought in, they're probably more influenced by Todd. You think? Because I'm just trying to think, how would Eddie talk Todd into buying a plane ticket for Stan Hansen? You know, I'm sure that's not a cheap, flight. Because if he's coming from Texas in '93, that's not cheap. And
or especially if he's in Japan, like they said, he lived over in Japan too. So I mean, Jesus, maybe. I mean, yeah.
So it's just it really. I was trying to connect the dots with that. Is what I was trying to do, unless maybe it had something to do with Funk. Maybe Funk wanted Hanson to come over and give the product some eyes. You know, maybe he thought maybe there was something there.
Hanson never, and excuse my ignorance if I'm wrong, he never worked for Wing, did he?
No chance.
No. Okay. No. Well, and the only reason I asked that was because they have this little relationship going with, because we saw Quinones and those guys last week. I didn't think he ever made any shots for them, but I couldn't remember.
Dude, they would have had to pay him more than they would have had to pay the entire crew on a tour. Yeah, there's no unless they were just booking Stan Hansen himself of the whole entire tour.
He just comes out and scares the he just comes out and chases Japanese people around.
Yeah, swinging his bull. Yeah, there's no chance Hansen was going to be working for Victor. But yeah, it's just odd to me. And the same thing with Abby. But Abby could be attributed to that Eddie knows Abby and Victor. That Abby fits in there, and I'm thinking the common denominator is probably Terry. Maybe Stan was looking to invest a little bit of money,
right?
And Terry was like, "Hey, check out what they're doing here," and apparently he didn't like what he saw.
He was like, "Well, they showed you wrestle that there wolf man, and I don't know if I can do that, Terry."
Yeah, I'm only going to work for this company if I get to work with this. Who's this Ernesto guy?
The next thing we have up is the same promo we got from Tito Santana last week.
Arriba!
And then a Don Morocco promo talking about their history over the Intercontinental title and such to hype up our title match here.
Again, it was barely a recap of the Intercontinental. He just said, "I remember taking the title from you, Intercontinental title, in the WWE."
That was the extent of it, yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't like, you guys kind of had like a program, you had like you took it on the road. all the wars. What about the wars you had?
Mm-hmm.
The extreme matches, how you used to beat up each other night in, night. No, I think I remember beating you for the Intercontinental title. It rings a bell, Don.
Somewhere in New York, brother. I don't remember, but
Yeah.
Some
building.
I know is I was
Some
getting ready
big
to
ass
go out.
building. I don't remember what it was.
I was getting ready to walk through the gorilla, and somebody just says, "Hey, Tito, what?" And you go, "TCB, brother." and he knew it was on because Snooker couldn't do it.
Then we're going to have a ECW championship match between Tito Santana and our champion, Don Morocco. And as much of a Tito fan as I am, these guys were definitely working to what they were being paid and the audience they saw in the crowd, how many people they saw in the crowd, because they weren't taking any risks during this.
Freddie Gilbert was wearing a shirt like his dad would like to wear now.
Oh, right.
Yeah, just bedazzled, just god awful looking, terrible shirt.
I was wondering, because I vaguely remember how much Eddie was getting paid a week from Todd to be there, and how he talked Todd into bringing in Kevin, but Kevin was only getting scraps for money, as far as the salary kind of thing. And I'm thinking, I wonder if Eddie sent him out to the mall to get that shirt made, and then made him pay for it. The same way that Watts made Eddie pay for the portrait that he spent $600 on, and then ended up getting dumped on his head in Mid-South. So that kind of made me chuckle when I saw that shirt. Eddie said, "Go to the mall,
get that shit bedazzled, brother."
A bedazzled Freddie Gilbert shirt. That way everybody's gonna know who you are.
He's like, "You're right here. You're right here. You get that bedazzled Freddie Gilbert shirt, you'll be right here, brother. You'll be the fucking tits.
Over like Rover."
I had all kinds of problems with that main event match, and I think it could have been solved with just one changing of the show. They worked a typical. I used to I worked on some of them shows that Tito worked on in New Jersey and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And that was a typical Tito match. That's what Tito was going to give you. He didn't give a shit. He wasn't a full-time guy there,
right?
Or at least he didn't think he was being brought back more than a couple times. So it wasn't in his best interest to give a fuck. So he just worked that match, and Morocco wasn't going to do any more than Tito wanted to do. So he's going to, all right, man. And they worked the arm gimmick.
Oh, I have down here the majority of this match is an arm hold.
Right.
It's
they could. It was a regular independent match that I thought the whole entire problem could have been solved with this was if they would have switched out somehow how everybody got involved in that match. They would have brought out Shane Douglas.
Mm-hmm.
And have Shane get involved because Shane didn't even really turn heel during his promo.
No.
So, he's coming out and Todd's standing around and he's talking to him, and he could have been like, I don't know, I didn't say I was joining these guys. And then when all the guys came out with Morocco and everything started happening, Shane could have came out and fucked Tito. Because it didn't mean much for Tito. He wasn't really coming back. And I'm like, you could have really fucking saved this match, because if you could have had the same exact match, but brought the finish to where the finish meant something that was like, oh my God, we're going somewhere.
Right, we're advancing something. Yeah.
Now Tito's bumping the other guys. Oh, now they got a hold of Tito. Now here comes Shane. Oh my God, Shane turns on Tito, kind of deal. And I'm like, man, for them to, and then I thought that was going to be the finish. And then when they put the belt on Tito with Tito with the flying jalapeno, I totally forgot that.
With the weird distraction thing going on with Freddie and Morocco, there was no seeds planted for this at any point. Unless, are we supposed to assume that the Dangerous Alliance is turning on Don? I don't know. I don't.
On
Aaron, any
Freddie?
thoughts?
They're turning on Freddie?
No, turning on Morocco. Because
I think they were doing this just because Paulie was talking about how awesome Freddie was, and he was going to be. He's like a great man. That was them just trying to make Freddie seem like an inept, stupid manager. That's what they were doing with that. But the whole thing is just bad.
Yeah. I mean, they really. I mean, just tell me if I'm wrong. I can handle it. If they could have really saved that main event, if they could have did the same exact match, they would have had a finish that would have had a bunch of people involved.
Mm-hmm. And like you said, show me that this program is going somewhere. Show me that you know there's a story here that I'm going to be interested to follow, and which things like that are coming very soon.
Yeah, it's just not. It's just like, I mean, to me, we got Tito Santana here this week.
Mm-hmm.
You know, nobody advertised it for next week. If he doesn't, but so then he wins the belt, so now he has to come back. But you didn't even have to give him the belt. So
right,
maybe Tito's replacing Morocco. Maybe Morocco's is the bigger plane ticket. You know what I'm saying? Seriously, I'm sure he probably is. He's the bigger plane ticket, and they agreed to we'll just bring Tito in because he can drive here.
he lives in Cherry Hill. It'll be fine.
Yeah, let's just do that. But yeah, I mean, the match was ridiculous, and at some point, I don't know if either one of you two caught this. Paulie tells Sully, he says, "Don't worry, I will never let you down." And I just was like,
I didn't catch that at all.
Yeah, he goes, don't worry, Sully, I will never let you down. And I wrote "ha" because I'm sure Paulie's the guy that probably told him the last time they had a taping was, we don't need you anymore.
Yeah, we're not going to be having you back next week, Jay.
Yeah, he's like, I thought, well, Paulie, dangerously, I thought you said you'd never let me down. Yeah. Paulie's like, I never said I wouldn't let you go.
Yeah. But this is the ECW. Like, we don't work this way.
Paulie.
Well, it wasn't even the end of the show.
Nope.
Go ahead.
Championship title changes, but we're not going to be like, oh my God, expect the unexpected. They're like, oh, well, that changed. Let's go to Paulie.
Well, that was the unexpected. Like, I'm thinking, like, okay, send out Donnie and Hervey to celebrate with Tito, Cairo, at least, or the Wild Man. Send people out there to celebrate. But no, you get Flip Flop Jay Sully sitting in the control center telling everybody, hey guys, we're out of time. We really ain't got anything else to show you. So, oh wait a minute, we do have this Paulie interview. All right. I was like, okay. Way to hype that up. To make me want to stick around for that.
Here's these scraps we've got left. Yeah.
So what'd you think of that?
Aaron?
There was a Cornette reference.
Yeah, I was going to say, this isn't wrestling the way it used to be and the way you like it. This is how we're going to give it to you. Basically slamming Smoky Mountain.
Yeah, I think he said, this is, the Cornette thing, and he says, this is wrestling how we're going to do it. Like, that's like, I don't know. I'm not, he doesn't really have a plan. No, it is wrestling how it's going to be.
And you're going to like it or something like that. Yeah.
Well, yeah. I don't think he even said that. I think he just said, it ain't the wrestling that you would ever wanted the way you like it. He goes, this is the way wrestling is going to be. So
sounds like Vince McMahon, doesn't it?
Yeah. I'm going to pretend like I have a vision, but I really have no idea where this is going because I still haven't fired Eddie yet. I still got to get rid of the Dark Patriot, Tito Santana, Freddie Gilbert. I mean,
the Wolfman,
Super Destroyers.
Well, I don't know. When we're getting ready to talk about the next show, has anybody previewed the next show?
I actually have the preview brought up here that I can run through.
No, but hey, did you see any parts of it yet?
No.
So you don't know what ring it is?
No, I do not. And
Okay,
the picture on the network is just Stan Hansen standing in front of a backdrop, so I can't even see the ring in a picture.
I'll know when things definitely change. And I honestly, I think that we're in a mixed up period right now because Ultra Clash is only a couple weeks away,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that is the big deal. And I think that's the last time we see the Dudley ring, the Wolfman's ring, because I know they used it during that show because I think somebody broke it. I don't want to say it was Abby because it would have been shown or maybe, I don't know if it was shown or not, but somebody broke that ring. And then I remember the following show was I think when they started using Ted Petty's ring, because when you start seeing the ring that has the red, white, and blue ropes,
Mm-hmm.
is when Eddie's completely done.
Okay. I know, like I said, I know that's coming because I am almost positive, not looking ahead because I try not to because I want to be surprised when I watch but I'm almost positive he's not even at Ultra Clash, Eddie. I think he gets replaced by Kevin Sullivan.
Well, that was the show where where Doug was smashing the monitors and breaking the stuff in the locker room with the bat, and then Eddie just grabbed the table and just set up a table outside in the crowd and was selling his gear, like everything he had. Like that was like my first show, like not working, but my first show of being, in the room and going like, what the fuck is all this about? This is fucking crazy here. But yeah, because I don't believe. I think you are right. I think Eddie did like not get booked on that show because that's when he got, I guess, let go. There, as far as I know, because there could have been a meeting before the show before I got back there about, hey, this is going to be the way we're moving forward now. I'm the new booker. Eddie's no longer here, so I didn't hear any of that. All I saw was the chaos that went on backstage, and next thing I know, I'm wrapped up in this nonsense.
Well, overall, this show, meh. It was just once again just kind of there. I actually liked last week's show better, but anyway, this show I don't know. I don't want to 2 out of 5. I don't want to throw it too much love.
No.
Aaron?
I'd give it about the same.
I can't wait till we get to any shows that I can completely say it was a 2. These shows are so further from a 2 that they're terrible. They're terrible in a whole entire sense. Yeah, sure, I can pick some good stuff out of it. I can pick some stuff that I thought was decent. Maybe to get it out of the quicksand. But just some of the stuff they did. Eddie Gilbert has taken up way too much TV time. He obviously did not film enough stuff to have enough stuff to think that he could run a production studio for a weekly TV, a weekly TV show. So it just gets monotonous, and everything's just so generic. So again, I'm going to give it a nothing rating. Just it's not going to make the rating yet because that whole Tito Morocco thing killed me. Because I'm just like, I could solve this whole entire thing in 2 seconds. Just you smaz it up, and you have Shane join, and you go off the air with Shane joining. Wow, not that fucking hard.
And as cool as Eddie, like I didn't know him obviously, but like as good of a mind and as talented and everything as Eddie Gilbert was. Looking back and watching it now, if I would have been Ty Gordon, I would have thought the same thing. I would have thought this guy needs to be replaced. You know what I mean? Wow. Like if this is my show and this is what this guy is giving me, he's got to go.
Yeah,
not necessarily out of my promotion. Like you want to stick around my promotion, that's fine, but you ain't gonna be booking it anymore.
Yeah, I agree totally. I think that if it may have went down this way. It may have went the way that he said that, hey, I'm going to remove you as the booker and replace you with Paul. But you're more than welcome to stick around as talent. I don't think Eddie would have been as motivated. It probably wouldn't have ended well. I don't know how Eddie and Paul was at the very, very end of it to begin with, but that probably wouldn't have ended well, So it was probably best for Eddie just to take Ike.
Yeah.
I guess.
So the description of next week's show on the WWE Network, so we know what we're getting into, what we're stepping into. On this edition of Eastern Championship Wrestling, things get heated when Stan the Lariat Hansen and Tito Santana team up to take on Shane Douglas and Don Morocco in the main event. Plus, the Headhunters in action, Hot Stuff Eddie Gilbert and the Dark Patriot face the Super Destroyers.
Oh boy!
So there's what we got coming up next week, and that's an apt description there. Oh,
well, maybe
maybe Hunter Q finally signs the Super Destroyers, and then he comes out for the match and says the Gilbert and the Patriot that I told the Super Destroyers to stay home.
I got $22,000. I spent a little since last week.
Yeah, that's completely insane.
It would have been great if the Super Ds would have all right, we'll take you as our manager, and the next week he shows up, and they're like, "Where's our $25,000?" He said, "I never said $25,000. I said $2,500."
Well, shit, they should have been lucky to get that even. It could have been a deal where he said 25, and then Hunter yells out 25,000. I never said that. Well, maybe you said 25. I didn't 2,500. I never said that. But you said 25. He goes, I said $25. No,
I have $25 and a Subway card that's been stamped 8 times.
Yeah,
2 more subs.
Between the $25, you two can get 2 $5 footlongs, and then you can split the free sub down the road.
You guys are on the verge of an excellent dinner.
Yes.
If you sign with Hunter Q. All right. Let's we've spent an hour talking about this debacle. Chad, do you want to have any parting words for our listeners this week?
No, I'm just glad to be a part of this whole entire project, but good Lord, we got to get to some fucking better shows. These are hurting, man.
We are troopers, I think, for sitting through these doozies, getting to the good stuff though.
Yeah, we need all the people that are we're getting new to the group to tell their friends and tell people that don't even listen, just subscribe or add to the Facebook group or something. Because we need some sort of payback for this. Good God. Because you know how much more fun the shows are going to be when they get good?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
I know. I mean, I'm chomping at the bit here to wait to see when the matches get better and the storylines get better. And
I want to get the Ultra Clash. That's what I want to do.
That's going to be our short term goal. Is we get the Ultra Clash, and then after that, we start seeing things looking better. But other than that, no, I ain't got no more parting words.
Aaron?
Nope. Just thanks for listening.
Thank you all. Yes, thank you all for listening. And we will see you next week as we continue reliving the extreme. Have a great week, everybody.